Princess Aine gasped and opened her eyes and rubbed her temples. She was on her knees and in the dirt, surrounded by the most delicious fragrance she could ever remember experiencing. She focused her eyes on hundreds of beautiful flowers with their soft, gently moving petals formed in a perfect mathematical pattern. Their fragrance was enhanced as she drew closer. This is surely heaven, she thought. She rolled on her back and looked up at the sky that was so blue. She threw back her head and laughed. She had made it through the portal to a new world, a wonderful world. And oh, it looked as though this might be the home she had imagined, a world of delicious smells and artful color. She lay there for some time as a bee buzzed about her, and the birds dotted the sky, looking down upon her strange position amidst the rose garden. Suddenly, she heard a flashing noise, and water lifted and sprayed from the ground, soaking the remainder of her tunic and forcing her to get up and run to a drier spot underneath an old oak tree, whose branches leaned down as if it was going to lift her up and hold her in his arms. There was a bicycle leaning against the trunk of that old oak, and just beneath it a pack folded with a small blanket and a bottle of water. She lifted the bottle to her lips to drink and looked around. Is this heaven in my mind? Or is this a different planet in the cosmos, she wondered. Was she dreaming? Had she landed somewhere far or near that was so different from where she'd come? She looked around for the owner of the pack and the bicycle. Seeing no one, she sat down, opened the pack, found the crackers, opened the crackers and started munching. Pretty good. Well, they seemed real enough. She saw the map, the cell phone, and the flute. She clicked open the flute case. She smiled, for it looked much like the wind instrument she'd learned to play. She had many times been imposed upon to play at royal functions as a girl, but she'd tired of playing royal-approved melodies, and she'd always wished to sing her own songs. Princess Aine took each piece of the flute and put it together and began to play. Although her fingers stumbled, she produced a lovely sound, lovely enough to entertain herself and a few of the birds who had been harboring in the trees nearby. They joined her in a song. Aine thought. Perhaps the owner of the pack will arrive soon and tell me where I am. They could meet, and perhaps she'd make a friend in this new place. But no one came. There was no person or being or thing that passed nearby. How odd, she thought. It is as if the pack were abandoned suddenly. She pressed the cell phone, and it lit up. And she was astonished to see the name of the owner, Aine Henderson. And there was her picture as well. Princess Aine drew a tiny gasp when she realized that this girl was so very much like herself. Same dark brown hair, same deep blue eyes, same height it seemed, rather tall and slender. They could have been sisters, they could have been friends, they could have been twins. Princess Aine unzipped the pack and looked at the other items inside. There was a map with directions, and although it was not in her native tongue, somehow the words were easily readable, and somehow the description came to her lips easily spoken. The language came easily to her. She understood the written words at least. Maybe this place really was her home. Her heart lifted brightly. By some divine motion, she had been reborn in a new time and place. This was it. She opened the map, resolved to follow its guidance. She put the backpack over her shoulders and started walking towards the lights in the distance that seemed to be the way of the map's destination. As she walked along the sidewalk, she saw the decorated homes and gardens. She noticed the transport on this planet appeared to be some carbon combustible wheeled wagons such as she had seen in museums, so very ancient. But she noticed that most of them seemed to be heading in one direction, which she followed. According to the somewhat scribbled lines drawn on the map, she was heading to somewhere called Bus Station. She saw a woman with a small child along the way. Princess Aine smiled and caught the eye of the boy, who looked backward toward her for a long while, until his mother jerked his arm, insisting he keep up with her. Aine followed them until they stopped, and Aine asked for directions, showing the woman her map. The woman pointed. It was up ahead, and she'd be there soon. Well, it didn't take much to feel oriented in this new place, she thought. Although perhaps not entirely comfortable, she was so happy she'd made it through the portal, and she clicked her heels in a joyful little dance.